play too much, get ready. We not for the kids, it's all Kelly. We reppin' the coach before belly. On the lower side since they rock Pelly Pelly. Kev in the spot, straight chillin'. Zach already stepped in the building. Dre always ready and willing. Oldheadz of the podcast, straight killin'. Top billin'. Straight dealin'. Cold chillin', what's missing in CHH, we feelin'. Oldheadz Podcast.
So it was just interesting to see God, just how God was using it. Even when we traveled abroad, I went with Cross Movement to London. They took me to London. And well, everywhere. They took me to Scotland, London in 1999. I was like, I'm a world traveler, you know. But you know, when we got out there, we went to Brixton. We set up microphone and speakers outside.
What?
Brixton is like an outdoor kind of, you know, where all the heavy traffic is, you know. And just people were just rallying, and we just would give the gospel, just open air preaching. So for us, when we first started, there was no industry for us. You know, there were no Grammy Awards or Stellars or, you know, iTunes or, you know, there was no metric to like say, oh, you're hot, you're winning, It was very much an underground thing. And so for me, man, I think that the beauty of it though was that there was a sense of purity about it because we didn't have all of those external distractions. We didn't have a lot of the things that we have now that are competing for our affections and competing for our allegiance as Christian artists. So there was something about that time that was really good for us because it allowed for us to kind of dig our roots really deep so that once all this came, you know, we were planted, you know, by God's grace. And so it wasn't on purpose. That's what I'm saying it to say. You know, when we got in this, we got in it just to reach the unreached people group, to be missional. And over time, you know, as God would have it, by his grace and his sovereign will, he saw to it that people really took to it, you know. And again, initially people took to it for what it was. Like, come to our church because our youth really need you. You see what I mean?
It's like we have nothing to compete with Lil Wayne.
You see what I'm saying? They need you. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there was just something about our, you know, when I say our, I mean myself, the Cross Movement, and others during that time that was really attractive. You know, there was this sense of, I mean, just for the people, from the people's vantage point, there was this sense of resolve, you know, strong convictions. You know, we were who we were, you know, and we were uncompromising in that, and that I think attracted a lot of different people to us. And over time, it just grew organically. We didn't try because there was nothing to try with. There was no industry to leverage, you know. Before publicists, before management, before it was just we just out here being faithful. And we found out that the Bible's true and that if you're faithful over a few things, God tends to make you ruler over many.
Nils, it's funny how, you know, that he was talking about the music being in the very, very beginning when Cross Movement first started, because, you know, he was connected with Cross Movement on how, you know, they were going to the mission field. You know, I don't know if you remember when he was talking about that. He's talking about in reference to the mission field, like they wasn't, you know, CHH wasn't what it is now.
Yeah. He said the industry itself didn't exist. There wasn't a market. I mean, it wasn't really a market for it. So he did say that as far as the mission field is concerned, primarily he felt that the mission field was that culture, the current hip hop culture that we're in. Because I even remember listening to Cross Movement music, and I was, you know, they would talk about how you had 5%ers, you know, Nation of Islam. They would talk about certain things, and they would just straight up diss the Lord, you know. And so they hear that, and so now they come out with a song that says, "Lowercase gods bow down to the capital." You know what I'm saying? On that heaven's mentality. And so it's like they were directly addressing issues in the current hip hop culture that spoke ill of the God who they were serving. And so they were saying, yo, this is our mission field. So we have to specifically put out music that's countercultural, you know. And so, you know, for them, it was like, yo, this is what it means to be missional. Not to mention them actually taking mission trips and doing their music, you know. And so that it was a, you know, it was a mission. They were on mission, you know, with their music. They just kind of wasn't putting it out just to make people feel good. They was like, yo, let's use this art form to address these issues in a dope manner.
The light of Christ is a blazing one. It's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know when he saved us from. The light of Christ is a blazing one. It's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know when he saved us from. I get the chills every time I get the spill, cause it's a thrill to put Christ on a pedestal. Cause men are in sin and death, you can bet it's real. He can take you out and won't make you get the bill. So we're telling all men, we're exalting the hero that paid the fee, making you free like net zero. What an offer, y'all should bum rush the altar. Call to the Lord in any season, he'll sort you. I ask you, don't you know wrath is coming at you? Where the spirit is, there's liberty without the statue. Peace, sword, please Lord. There's a debt, but we don't have the cheese for it. Man's tough, but he can't seem to break since handcuffs. Proven to be the flake he is like dandruff. And plus, at his core, man's dust. Man shucks, surrender, come to God with your hands up. The light of Christ is a blazing one. There's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. The light of Christ is a blazing one. There's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. True, Christian people get the mad big ups, cause life can jerk you like some bad hiccups. But your God fights, you only spar, facing drama and trauma like you're on ER. But you're victorious, in fact already glorious. God said it, I'm just repeating what the story is. But let me set it straight, all the credit goes to the Lord, don't forget it. If you never get a Grammy, get the name and let it ring. All praise Jesus, aka Elohim, who rules everything. You're every king's king, you outshine every bling bling, doing your thing so well. You should get a prize just so Nobel. Peace, you're the prince of an angel scream. Cause you're the most high, but oh my, you play the Lowell. A manger, they should've made room in the hotel. The human race as a whole fell. So now life is short like a mobile phone with a low cell. Can't believe you died when we were screaming go hell. A people sure to perish like a turtle with no shell. You know well, Satan tricks man, pulling them down like quicksand. They got them thinking they're a Christian. Man, we better recognize who you are. Heaven and earth's true superstar. Dig it. Household of faith, now raise them up. If you're living by grace, now raise them up. If you're seeking God's face, now raise them up. All my people in the place, now raise them up. Household of faith, now raise them up. If you're living by grace, now raise them up. If you're seeking God's face, now raise them up. All my people in the place, now raise them up.
Jesus, Jesus, y'all know the name, but y'all ain't feeling him like Novocaine. I know, y'all think we're so insane, but that don't matter, cause we're not going for fame or flowing for gain. You know we gotta go in his name. The same God who's sovereign came in a human frame from heaven to earth like falling rain, so that we could call his name and be born again. We know the God who's controlling things, the living water like Poland Springs, who went away, but he's coming back like boomerangs. Until then, all of creation groans in pain, cause sin got the world locked like a ball and chain. I get the hunch like Notre Dame that many Christians won't expose sin or exalt the name, but that's the thing that gets our names in heaven's hall of fame. Truth.
The light of Christ is a blazing one. It's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. The light of Christ is a blazing one. It's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. Household of faith, now raise them up. If you're living by grace, now raise them up. If you're seeking God's face, now raise them up. All my people in the place, now raise them up. Household of faith, now raise them up. If you're living by grace, now raise them up. If you're seeking God's face, now raise them up. All my people in the place, now raise them up. The light of Christ is a blazing one. It's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. The light of Christ is a blazing one. It's a fight to live right in this major, son. But the grace has come, so we praise the sun and celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. We celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. We celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. We celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. We celebrate him, cause we know what he saved us from. And that wasn't necessarily a mold that they created, because I heard Idol King going on mission trips, and so there were a lot of different groups even before and during the cross movement era that were just mindful of ministry, and there really wasn't a genre an industry or a brand or all these different things like it is now. And then you're talking about maybe 100 in comparison to thousands of people that are now claiming to do the music. It kind of made me think, like, if Christian rap wasn't an industry, because really it's still a very an industry in infancy, because it's not really that that big, and those that we look at are deemed successful. I think if we were really able to look in their books, we would kind of see how successful they really are. But if it was still in its incubation period, where it really just didn't bring forth any kind of anything, how many people would still be doing it?
I don't know, man. Because I think even back then, I don't think they were into it because of that. Those guys had regular jobs and they would do their music, and they would work jobs that would give them the ability to travel oftentimes to different churches across the country and do their music. I think a few people would still be doing it, but I don't think it would be as many who's doing it now, because we just live in a different world than we lived in then.
Yeah.
And I think at some point, people had to, I guess in their mind, find a way to capitalize off of it. And I think once the church started accepting it a little bit more, and you had youth pastors or whoever who had budgets, they were able to bring people in. I don't know, man. I think it just changed from there. But
I was thinking about the how crazy, like, just during the time, the group I was in, we were very active.
What's the name of the group
on
again?
tour? 7-9,
okay.
And we had a good hookup, and the hookup was all of the members of the group worked for the church. We all worked there, right? So we worked for the church. When the church would go out on their ministry crusades, then in the past they had never had anything for the youth. So the youth would just be forced to sit in the arenas or wherever, they were having their crusade at. But once we started doing music, it gave them this, option. Like, oh, okay, well, while they're ministering, we can have 7-9 do a concert for their youth, and then have their youth pastor or whoever come and minister. So it was like finally the kids had their own thing. And I mean, like, they drew to that, like, man, I mean, they were like moths to a flame. They just loved it. And for us, so I can think back and remember being a young person and, getting off, thinking I'm the what. I'm in a group with 6 other kids. We got our 7-9 chains and our T-shirts, and we get to to these concerts, and there's girls in the audience screaming, saying who they like, got they 7-9 chains on. Now, no, we didn't have 7-9 chains that we manufactured. We went to the Slauson swap meet and got our 7-9 chains printed up at the Slauson swap meet. So to be in like Virginia and you see a girl wearing a 7-9 chain, then it's like you didn't went through some stuff to make up your 7-9 chain, right? Yeah. So we would get there. So we went, man, New York, Virginia, Washington, Austin, Texas, Waco, Texas, Arizona. I mean, like, we were going on, we were touring. And if we would have had Twitter, if we would have had YouTube, if we would have had that kind of stuff, like, what that would have did for us long term, I mean, I know life would have been completely different.
Yeah.
So, the
the timing, I think, is a gift and a curse. You know, because we were out and we were doing it, and really the majority of what we were doing it for was ministry, especially in the beginning. Now, once you start getting girls rocking your 7-9 chains on stuff, you start feeling like really feeling yourself. And I think when we got to the point where we felt ourselves, the Lord was just like, let me just disconnect this thing.
7-9, I leave a team as finest. Worship His Highness, the 80 minus one clip. Be the tightest, most righteous squad of the century. Representing ministry, all up in the industry. Taking it by force with our swords in hand. Possessing the land. Spiritually, we platinum cause God's our biggest fan. We on a mission to turn the whole world into Christians. No religion, just walking by faith and steady giving.
I'm the spiritual war artist, using demons like moving targets. Lyrical marksman, sharp, but rhymes flowing like sparklers. Piercing the darkness, like Frank Peretti. With flaming machetes made of platinum, turning this rap game to burn confetti. Satan ain't ready for the pain I'm bringing. Swinging the sword of the spirit, so when he raises his head, I guillotine it. I pray and practice what I study in the Bible. In fact, this bloody sword of mine got Satan and demons suicidal.
Fireproof vest, righteous breath safe on my chest. Load up my swift and blessed. Lesson teaching is my quest. Every clipper has a scripture, every bullet a demon's name. I got a golden one for Satan with a quote. End of your reign. My feet shot, transformed into metal shin guards and such. And my helmet's made of platinum, so my mind cannot be touched. As for my eyes to be opened as I'm walking out the door, thinking, ain't no turning back. As I'm cocking back my sword.
Hey yo, check this, my style's amazing. Enjoying blazing, I'm facing you and your whole squad with regulation. My right creations will leave you in a state of fascination. My crew is rising like inflation and tax evasion. Now Satan is plotting spiritual annihilation, but information tells me we can stop his domination. Demonic forces that'll eventually be annihilated, and segregation ain't allowed within my generation.
Bugging them down, running the town, you move, I'm coming and running you down. Don't love if you clown, lit off around, you never know that I'll be coming around. Don't love it, I'm down, the click, we keeping it real, and demons be knowing the feel, they know the deal, we holding the still, I'm blowing the real, I'm pulling the chills. I told you I give it in the word, but never could hurt us. Demons I murder, I'm telling you now, Saints real nervous. And now that you heard us, I'm making my point today to work us. I'm not gonna stop till all y'all drop us, sing bow down and serve us.
Hard crew goes there, yo, it must be warfare on a spiritual spectrum. Entering your section, the spiritual element of a click that is straight swollen. Shield the face, sort of the spirit I be holding. You not knowing when 7-9 aligns to define and shine brighter than the California coastline. Drop the dime, crack the spine of any demon, scheming at times, spirit drunker than the joint, drinking in the shower.
That's right, on my knees praying all night. Was living in sin till I seen the light. Walking by faith and not sight. Rebuking the devil, that's right. On my knees praying all night. Was living in sin till I seen the light. Walking by faith and not sight. Rebuking the devil, that's right. On my knees praying all night. Was living in sin till I seen the light. Walking by faith and not sight. Rebuking the devil, that's right. On my knees praying all night. Was living in sin till I seen the light. Walking by faith and not sight.
I had friends that were doing awesome with their groups and their ministry, and when it started to kind of they started losing sight on the Lord. I had one friend, man, their group was about to really, really be something, and they were at the Roxy in Hollywood, and my friend didn't know. We got an interview in one time because this is a trip. My friend didn't know that a couple of the members of his group had went out and smoked some weed. Like they wasn't like, at first everybody was just so on fire for the Lord, and then people started to kind of get full of themselves in reference to just how, just how the atmosphere was, the venue was, the attention they were starting to get from different people, and they smoked a little and came on stage, and it was like my friend was like looking around, he was like, man, something just ain't right. Like, I don't feel the spirit like I did before. Like, he was really, really like in tune, like always praying and like right when they got on stage, they went to go into they set, and they were really, really great with poetry and rapping and singing and all of it together. We talking about the Roxy. Everything shut down. Electricity, everything wouldn't come back on for them. So, you know, there was a time where people were like, hey, we doing this for the Lord, and if we lose sight, then, you know what I'm saying, like, Lord, cut this off. And I don't know if now our confidence is still in the gospel.
Yeah, it's different now, man.
Yeah, it just seems like, you know, if CHH was a car and Jesus was in the driver's seat, I think that we done told Jesus to slide over already. And I think some people got him in the back seat. Now, he's still in the car. You know what I'm saying? So we could be like, oh, he's still back here. He chilling. But, you know, like, he not driving no more.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of ways now, you know, this pursuit, and I don't even know what it is. Like, I look at it like, I mean, the Holy Spirit had told me this a long time ago. It's like, you know, chasing after fame is like chasing the wind. So it's like, I just feel like a lot of people are just like chasing this wind, like, because, you know, nobody's showing us an example of, yes, I want that specific thing, but everybody's all like on this, well, that's cool, but I'm gonna be better than that, or that's great, but I'm gonna be better than that. So nobody even has like an area where they're like, what they really understanding what they pursuing.
I think they're pursuing what these younger secular artists are doing. You know, we can hear how the music sounds. We can hear the cadence. We can hear, I guess, the simplicity in the beats. You know, they even using each other's ad libs. You know, so yeah, that's what they aspire to be. That's what it seemed like to me. It's just kind of, and maybe it's always, well, I can't say it's always been that way, but this is a very trendy time when a lot of people just sound the same.
Yeah,
you know, and I guess I do remember when Jeezy and them was out. You did have some artists around that time. I remember our kids back then used to be like, man, this artist sound like such and such. I do remember that, but at the same time, I think for them it was different, and for us it was different because there was still so much substance in the music.
Yeah.
Well, you just let that slide. I know I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we still, you know, as old heads, as older people, right? Because here it is, like, you know, for the listeners, right now it's 11:03, right? And I don't know if y'all can really tell, but Kev's voice sounds completely different. This man about to fall asleep.
Yes, I am.
Sitting right here, right? This is old man syndrome, right? So here it is. You know, we being older, you know, we're different than when we were younger, right?
How about that?
So, with that being said, do you feel like the genre needs us?
Absolutely. And man, and listen, absolutely the genre needs us because, you know, just the way our society is built, I don't care if I don't care what your ethnicity is, your socioeconomic standing is, your religion. You know, we've always needed like the elders. You understand what I'm saying? So the elders has always been in positions to speak into the younger generation, simply based on the fact that you have children that you're supposed to be raising up. You understand? Okay. And so I think they do need our voice because oftentimes, like you mentioned earlier, growing up, you just kind of think you know it all. But sometimes you just need an older gentleman or a woman to pull you aside and train you and be like, yo, that ain't really, I mean, I'm going to need to school you on this. It's the whole Titus 2 thing. You know, you have a lot of, you know, scripture talks about, you know, the older women, you know, teaching the younger women. And that goes for, you know, the men too. You just have so many examples in scriptures where the elders, in a sense, are kind of elevated, and that's his huge responsibility to train those who are coming up Like after you?
Alright, check it out. This is how we gonna do this one right here. See, we got a lot of these young gospel rappers running around here not even knowing about the whole history of this game. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to put y'all up on game, man. What?
Gospel Alpha, mega funky boogie disco music.
Cha-cha. Come on.
I said all these busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery. Yeah. These busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery.
Yeah. Now let me take all of you haters back to 93 when nobody gospel rapping but D2 and me, SFC, and maybe about 1, 2, or 3 other rappers in the so-called Christian rap industry. It was a few MCs then, when with no hating, tripping, jealousy, or beefing. Just beats in a microphone with the gospel, no fake fugazis like Donnie Brasco, just rap apostles. Now everybody's hollering gospel rap, but I'm that Chico that been doing this thing from way back, from the days of the gospel rappers getting kicked out all the churches, pastors preaching about us and hating on us in their service, trying to ban us cause we from the West and rock bandanas and use words like for shizzle, my nizzle up in our grammar. So listen up and recognize who you think started this gospel rap with a gangster twist if it wasn't I.
Player haters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery. Yeah, these busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery.
Doing gospel rap since '88, when it was underground and had to slay my own tapes. Out the church or the trunk of the car, on the streets or the block, all because I knew God had called me to preach through hip hop. So I picked up the mic and started doing my thing. Since D-Boy got shot, things just ain't been the same. Man, now some of y'all don't even know about that. The streets murdered one of the pioneers of gospel rap. He was one of the greatest to ever breathe on the microphone, and probably the reason you're even listening to the Boney Bone. But some of y'all just take this rapping in vain, leaving the gospel out the rapping and your life was the same. Man, now some of y'all know exactly who I be talking about, and I'm about to start speaking your name if y'all don't cut it out. Acting like you did this all by yourself. Do me a favor, check who got the most CDs on the shelf, man.
Player haters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery. Yeah, these busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery. No, all of these busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You better give them props where props is due. To the pioneers that paved the way for you.
12 years and I'm still spitting. A Dove Award, Grammy nominated, 5 CDs and I'm still hitting. Some of y'all wanna hate, but I ain't quitting. And as for me and Chase, cry cause we ain't splitting. Now I'm about to give props where they do. SFC, Freedom of Soul, and D2, XL, Michael Peace, and the JC crew. Dave Guzman, GG, DC, Talk 2, Idle King, and PID, System 3, D-Boy, R.I.P., Mike E.R.G., and Poetically. And the first one to ever do is Steve M. Wiley. These are the first ones to ever make it happen, so refer to him as an elder when you talk about this gospel rapping. Keep it cracking, y'all, I'm putting it down, showing respect to the ones that made this gospel sound, y'all.
All of these busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery. Oh, these busters talking loud. Don't even know what the game's about. You need to check that history. It ain't another unsolved mystery.
Yeah. So there you have it. The truth and nothing but the truth. Don't ever forget the pioneers that laid down this whole thing for y'all, man. This is how it was done from day one. I'm out. One love. Peace.
And I don't know any place where the younger generation raises up and you don't have this multi-generational effort happening. So when we were at Legacy, I think about 3 years ago, when Cross Movement did their whole reunion deal, which was awesome, by the way. You had me at the front, Show Baraka, The Truth. It was other artists. You had their wives. You had people who were our age, like just straight up reciting all of the words while the younger people are sitting back like, man, who is this group? what in the world is going on. And it was an awesome week, and I feel like Cross Movement got a lot of attention during that time, and I feel like they could have capitalized off of that momentum, and it could have been great for the subgenre period. But I remember running into Fanatic, Cruz, and I want to say it was I don't know who else it was. It's on our, I posted a picture on our page, on our Instagram account. But I think I asked one of them, I don't even remember who it was. I said, yo, man, when are y'all gonna record some new music? And dude was like, well, it all depends on whether or not we need it. And so I don't even feel like we should be thinking about that. He's saying, yo, if we need it, if the culture needs us, then we'll put it out. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, we need you. Put the music out. It's not too much we can listen to and be fed from these days and really enjoy around our age group. Like the culture does need you, not just the younger students, but we need you. But I do believe that the younger ones do need you too. They do need the voice of the elders. And so I'm just saying, bro. Some people we know say, yo, y'all just need to stop doing it. I know even in the last one, Show mentioned he knows when he's gonna stop, and at some point, some people probably do stop. But the bottom line is, like, should we always have that voice that's not only pushing the culture forward, but who also take the opportunities to speak into the younger generation and to train them? Because even if they think that they know it all, and they may not necessarily acknowledge or catch anything in, I'm wondering if those seeds can be planted, and as they grow older, that thing can start to really take root, and it can start to manifest itself, and then they get something from it, before it's too late. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, as you're talking, I think there is a point, just like when Show said, there is a point when you do need to, like he said, he knows when he's going to stop. Mm-hmm. And then, there's other artists, younger people that I've heard before that say, artists should give it up. Yeah. Some of them say they should give it up and help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the thought process. Yeah. I do feel like there is a time when an artist should stop. And this is just based solely on what, you just talking right now. I think an artist should give it up when they start catering to the younger audience.
Okay, I would agree.
Because what's the point of being an older person if all you're doing is imitating the younger ones? Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's some straight Benjamin Button. Yeah. Juicy J. Because I'm sorry, Juicy J. Juicy J. Like, I think what happened though with the secular rap is that more ignorant people got involved in the music. So in actuality, they're not trying to be like the kids. Mm-hmm. Mentally, they're at that place where they can only think to that extent. So it's not hard. They just do. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of artists, and and I mean, not discounting Juicy J. Juicy J probably be the first person to tell me I'm getting my bag. You probably poor wherever you at, whatever, and he probably dismissed me anyway. Yeah. But it's like you got individuals that still speaking to this generation, and they like well into their 40s. Yeah. Right? And then you got some that's like kids will be the first one to say, oh, they whack. Yeah. And you'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is Nas or this is whatever. Right. And they say they whack because I don't understand. Right. I don't understand this music. So it's easy to dismiss music as being whack. It's just like a kid in school be like, oh, this work is just stupid.
rhythm and blues, all kind of styles people can use, but abuse when done by a negative one with a nasty tongue, swearing it's reality or that he's just being funny. Neither one is more money, not me, honey. I'm free from the nigga, growing like a tree that's planted by a river, like dominoes because I deliver. HOLY, HIP, HOP on this MIKE, most definitely. It's a universal thing, and SFC's a universal gang. When I swing, it's like strawberry to a baseball. I rock London and watch the bridge fall. With the friends, made them dance. Hopped on a plane out to Spain. We was grooving them. 12 o'clock flight on to Jerusalem to rock the Muslims and the Jews. From these lips I kick, got rules in the schools, the clubs, the parks. When it's daytime or when it's dark, like a Wolverine, I straight rip apart any arena, any place. Just give me a system that can handle bass, and I'm all up in your face. So here's the case, stopping me is a mission impossible. I'll be rocking that, not stopping that, hip hopping that. Out the starting block, fresh and new. Here comes the kill, here comes the kill. Attacking, 66 I'm strapped. On my side, people flocking like bees to a hive. When we're live, and we house the set, speakers we wreck. People get saved and the mic gets thrown. Then we go home shining like a new piece of chrome. Then back through the hole like Karl Malone. And I'm loving it, straight down for life and then some. Dropping rainbow on top of the drum track. Soup and Dub got my back. You know it. Full sound the alarm, cause we're stepping fully armed through the Main Street gate. We crash, unbelievers, better dash. I am a lyrical psychopath, smooth like shaft on the mic. When I write it like shoving a stick down your windpipe. I turn you up in a room full of dynamite with the fuse lit, so don't trip or start no strife. Cause I'm coming low for Christ like controller with a knife. You're R&B in a Jesus state of mind. So I listen to commission like D2. I'm on a mission to make that change as I proclaim, lifting up the name over every name. As my house is a SEMO thing. So like a monkey on a vine, I swing the grooves, the gospel grooves, throw in the tape, and I cruise through the city, blasting my junk a mile away. You can hear me bumping loud, proud of what I rock. Little tape drop hot that I ain't got. To the store I'm gone, and it's on like white on rice. Cause gospel, gospel,
It's like, no, it's not stupid. You just ain't getting it.
Yeah, so basically, we're saying the same thing on both sides.
Yeah.
We don't really understand their music, because I really don't. So I'm going to say it's whack. You know, like, I've started to listen to some of it. You know, I remember when Rockstar JT said, hey, man, listen to that new 21 Savage at that time, you know, before he got caught up with Ice and everything. I heard a maturity in his music that I appreciated, because I felt like, even though this cat is young, it seemed like he had grown up a little bit, you know, from his previous CD, that was still a couple of songs that I'm like, well, I can't even listen to that song. It's just too far out there for me.
Yeah.
Especially all of the sexual stuff that he talked about.
Okay.
But I did hear some growth and maturity in his music, and I think it's unfortunate that he got caught up the way that he did, because I was kind of looking forward to see, man, where's he going with this? You understand what I'm saying? And so, but for some of these other younger cats that's coming up, it's like I just don't understand them.
But you would, even in not understanding them, you'd be the first to say that you would say they were whack.
You know what? I would.
Yeah.
But I would say that because I just feel like anybody can get a record deal. Anybody can get Instagram famous. Anybody can get on YouTube, and I'm thankful. This is gonna sound weird coming from me.
Okay.
But I'm thankful for Soulja Boy.
Okay.
Well, and the reason why I say that is because I think I have so much more respect for that dude now than I did when he came back then, because I realized how much he has influenced the culture. But it's almost like he's trying to still convince everybody that the reason why there's such thing as streaming and people are making money off of YouTube and all of this stuff is because of him. But then when you listen to him, he was like, wait a minute. He is the guy that kind of started all of that and made that popular. And it, I think he told, I don't know if it was the Breakfast Club or...
It must have been the Breakfast Club, because that interview,
Yeah, because he did a couple of interviews, but, he was like, man, I'm the reason y'all got these cameras in front of y'all now. You know what I'm saying? And it was on YouTube. I think it was available, but he kind of used it and... to fit his own musical purposes, and that thing just kind of blew up. And then I look at guys like him who's kind of looked at as somewhat older now, but at the same time, I'm like, I think at some point we do have to humble ourselves and acknowledge that. So it's like I'm looking for that kind of stuff in this newer generation, because as I'm listening to that stuff, I am saying that it's whack because I don't understand it.
See, I mean, like, for me, the only thing that I necessarily say is whack is like, well, what's that dude bust down Tatiana, whatever that song? I want to see you bust down. You ever heard that song?
Yeah, and that stupid dance that they got.
Okay, so the only reason why I say, okay, so these, like, there's fundamental things.
Yeah.
Rapping on beat, it's just fundamental to me. Mm-hmm. If you choose, if the beat is optional as to if you rhyme, if you can rhyme on there or not. If you say like, hey, I hear how the beat flowing, I don't really want to do that right now, I'm gonna do this over here. Mm-hmm. But on the same beat, I gotta say that's whack, right?
Well, yeah, Silk the Shocker was always whack to me. He never
rapped on beat. Silk Shocker, I never liked Silk the Shocker. He never rapped on beat. So it's just like those individuals, I think, is when I would say straight out. Now there's certain topics or whatever, I could be like, nah, that's garbage. I'll listen to certain songs that the kids that I work with, they listen to, and I'm like, okay, I can see why you like it, right? More so than if it was something I wouldn't even listen to again.
Well, it feels good to them. I love the beats.
Yeah, right? Beats are a lot better.
But I do like, this may sound like a contradiction because I was that Grape Tree artist dude.
I'ma dedicate this to all them broken vessels out there. I the ones to put Jesus together again.
Well, it's that new wine, I'm flipping a script, ain't no despising.
Yo, homie, give up your heart, no compromising. What's up?
So what's up, rascal? Should I tell him what's up? Can I relate and tell him how I used to mess up?
Go ahead, my nigga.
Mud hacking, shoe dropping, packing dope in my sacking. Married no cab, I'm straight up shacking. I used to be that little street
player.
Got saved and hit the streets, now I'm up.
Prayer.
I get that cool pit with my pants sagging, no zigzagging. Jesus, he's cool and what I'm bragging. So if you see me in the ghetto, I'm picking that BRB elite sanctified. I'm set free, I'm coming real on this GP, cause Jesus came to free me.
The Potter was to put you back together again. Your new wine, what do you say in the streets?
Said Jesus Christ, he laid it down to put put you back on your feet.
That's right, my nigga.
Well, what's a rascal, what they say in the church?
The scripture says the first is last and the last shall be first. I was the one that made the road, so it was hard to see. So many snaps stuck in my back that it was hard for me. I cracked the word and see that Satan come to kill and destroy. So he got glory when the people spoke that you a bad boy. Look, my mama raised me and her struggles was thick. She had to drag me to the church, that's where I learned to submit. Kiss the bus to go to school and every winter was cold. Raise a child the way he should, he won't depart when he's old. Nah, no more ducking and dodging, I'm living for Christ. So if I die,
Then you die.
I'm a living sacrifice. Anyway, people don't wanna see me put it down for the Lord, but a fool despises wisdom for his back as a rod. I got this vision that be burning, teach the people to pray. I hit the streets around the beats and sell more copies than made. See, everybody's jamming rap, but a lot of crap I hear. If it ain't lifting up the Savior, it's just noise in my ear. I'm not your player, cause I don't be playing with what I'm saying. Ain't nothing weak about this gospel I preach. Exploding rich, and you can catch me in the cut, flipping scripture with wine. Cause the days be getting dark, they're just a sign of the time. Get born again. In the streets,
But Jesus Christ, he laid it down to put you back on your feet.
that's right, my nigga.
The bigger rats, what do they say in the church?
Scripture says the first is last and the last shall be first. To the Bible, yo, new one, what do you say in the streets?
That Jesus Christ, he laid it down to put you back on your feet.
That's right, my nigga.
Yo, bigger rats, what do they say in the church?
Scripture says the first is last and the last shall be first. To the Bible.
But they was, but back then, to me, the only content that I was concerned about is Jesus and testimonies, and most of those guys were like testimonial rappers more so than like communicating the gospel effectively through their music.
Yeah.
But if you're not really talking about anything at all, and all I'm hearing is that what you gonna do to this girl and what you want her to do to you, and like you talking about your haters and how much stuff you got. It's like, for me, that's an old conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, that we kind of need to get away from. Like y'all are saying the same thing that honestly people have been saying for a long time, and for me, that's when it becomes whack, when your message don't have no substance to it.
Yeah, and I think it becomes even worse. Like, I don't know if you've seen this video. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but it's this video of this lady, and she got this thing on how to make a Migos song. So did you see this video?
No, I heard you talk about it. I haven't seen it.
All right, so in the way that she set it up, I mean, it literally sounds like a Migos song. Because all she did is she just took words that rhymed and she just laid it out, and she set it up in a way where it would equal out to 2 16-bar verses and a little chorus and whatever. I'll send you the video so you can look at it, because it's crazy. But when Christian rap gets to that point, because there's been a lot of Christian rap that I've listened to, and I just like, I don't understand what they talking about. And
like who? Oh well, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, because you already know I just start telling you, and and then I'm really gonna solidify myself as an old head that's standing in front of the house, with the screen door, telling people to get off his lawn. You know what I'm saying? But there'd be a lot of artists I don't be understanding. Like, I don't understand what what they talking about. But from what you're saying, what we've talked about earlier in reference to our place, what we should be doing. It's like there should be this definitive group of MCs that, regardless to what's going on, we say, hey, you know what, this is what we talk about. So y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, but we'll continue to either, you know what I'm saying, lift up that the banner of Christ.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, start talking about issues in reference to marriage, or issues in reference to, and when I mean marriage, it's not like I'm looking for my wife. Like, you know, we didn't went through that phase. You know, I had a song about looking for my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, cause you know, there was a time when everybody had the girl song. So the Christian guys would be like, oh, we gonna have the girl song about us looking for our queen type of thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, what about once you marry that queen and you've been with her almost 20 years? Like that song on the other side is the ones that some of us need to be hearing. There's a brother by the name of Willie Will. He got an album called The Fight of My Life. And I knew about Willie Will in the past, but I ended up seeing him leave a comment on his Facebook page asking a question of how old do you need to be before you stop rapping? And he was legitimately asking people. And I got a chance to kind of hit him up in the inbox to just kind of encourage him.
Yeah.
And it led me to go back and listen to his last album. And the man invested, you can listen to music and tell when somebody invested, you know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to this musicianship, I'm listening to the quality of the audio, I'm listening to all this stuff. So he invested. And this album, very, very mature album, you know what I'm saying? He's, pastor at the time, wife. He got a song about, him not really being in a position where he probably should have even been pastor, or, tipping on his wife. And I mean, it was like way out, and it was even further out than maybe me in reference to my marriage. But at the same time, for me, it was like a mind's playing tricks on me, like a cautionary tale. Like I didn't have to necessarily say I've ever been striking my fist on the concrete. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? To know that, man, people be paranoid going through these things, these trips. Yeah, but to hear it was like, man, okay, I need to make sure I watch myself.
Man, I've heard so many rumors, so many people asking questions. People just want to know, you know what I mean? What happened? And I've been kind of silent about it until now. Cats be asking what happened to Will. Is he rapping and pastoring still? When's he coming back in the field? The absence was real, and the truth I cannot conceal. Sit back and chill, and I'ma let you cats know the deal. On the surface, I was flying high, enjoying the ride, but I'm lying inside. I'm dying from poisonous cyanide. My sickness was spiritual. How am I living so hypocritical? How is it the wicked, this individual is preaching Jesus and all of his music? Dude is foolish, that's straight crook, spitting all of that Jesus on Facebook. Okay, look, it was hard from the start. I made it worse by saying I was okay. I was falling apart. Learning theology, now that was a walk in the park. My problem was I wasn't properly guarding my heart. When the sin crept up, I did nothing to kill it. Such to admit it, the state of my heart must have been wicked. Lusted for women, I'm running, bugging, stuck in my sinning. In adulterous past, a man with a juxtaposition. From the beginning, I knew I was dead wrong, headlong in an affair, which only led on to a bunch of pretending. Such a division between my two faces. One was lustful and wicked, and the other was Christian. Just like Judas, Willie is the son of perdition, betraying my wife with a kiss and one for my mistress. Faking my faith, the real me in another dimension. Teaching theology while I reek of hypocrisy. People calling me pastor while in my heart I harbor secret apostasy. Completely ignore the evil inside of me. Playing the role like God is okay with the state of my soul. Making a bold statement, left my faith in the cold. Knowing there is an unbearable, terrible punishment for violating the marital covenant. But I continue abusing the mercy of God. I harden my heart. I'm choosing what's dirty and wrong. I'm falling apart. And in his good grace, Romans 1:24 took place. He gave me over to the lust of my heart since I was chasing it. Embracing every temptation within embrace of tenacious ambition. Now I'm on a mission to indulge in my flesh, divulging the death in my inner being, expressing my heart of adultery with sex. Sneaking and meeting my mistress in secret. I'm creeping, I'm deep in illicit sin, and I'm weak, but on Sunday I'm preaching. As it says in Galatians, do not be deceived. If you're sowing seed to your flesh, from your flesh's destruction you're reaping. To God's word I only showed disrespect. I sowed to my flesh, and you already know what is next, though I didn't expect it. One day we was chillin' in Everett and she hit me with the news, Willie, I'm pregnant. Now I'm looking for a cover-up, bugging, I'm cussing like what the have I done? I'm having a son. What on earth am I gonna say to my wife? How can she forgive me for throwing a grenade on her life? Proverbs 6, God warned me to stay on the right path. I ain't listen, I ain't take his advice. Now I'm paying the price, and now I'm contemplating having an abortion to cover sin, cause I don't wanna face the punishment. God invites me to just repent. How I'm gonna win when I ain't right within? Come again. About to drop the bomb that's gonna break my family. Straight insanity. All of my thoughts are laced with profanity. Chasing vanity and folly got me facing calamity. The woman I got pregnant is expecting me to leave my wife. Look at the mess I made, I'm praying to Jesus Christ. Son of a gun, what have I done? Feeling like I wanna run and hide from what I created through my lust and pride. I can either do that or I trust in God. He helped me to stand and confess my sin to my wife. It felt like I grabbed her and pressed her into my knife. It felt like I stabbed her to death and ended her life. But I was called to protect and present it to Christ without spot or blemish, but I didn't finish the fight. But I'm a minister, right? What a sinister sight. So she went and told the pastors of the church, and I could only imagine all the cats that I have hurt. And shorty sending me the pictures of the ultrasound. Every picture is sad to me, painfully reminding me of what I did to my family. Man, this is a tragedy. My mistress is happy, but my spirit's in agony. I stepped down as a pastor, which I never should have been in the first place. Wonder why God would allow this disaster. Feeling like I wanna disappear, but even though I'm broken and hurting, remember I'm not the victim here. I got a broken-hearted wife betrayed by her husband. I got kids that are facing a major adjustment of the family dynamic that they're used to. And who's paying the price? Shayla, Lachelle, Kiana, and Juju. This is why God hates divorce. More than that, he hates adultery. After adultery, nature takes its course. Sin deceived me and I fell in the curse. Being separated from the ones that I love, this is hell on earth. My eyes water as I write this, feeling lifeless. The pleasure of sin is enticing until your spirit's in the crisis. I was made in God's image and likeness, but living unrighteous is death and I'm sick, let me fight this. Feeling like I wanna pack it up and go. Feel like I've fallen and I can't get up. Yo, falling and I can't get up. Feel like I've fallen and I can't get up. I feel like I've fallen and I can't get up. I feel like I've fallen and I can't get up.
Let me ask you something. Was that the first CHH artist that you heard do a song like that? Because I'm going to tell you when the first time I heard something like that.
I would say that this is the first time I've ever heard a CHH artist that blatantly transparent.
Yeah, so I think the first time I heard that was... I think it was back in 2000. Well, I think it was probably 2000. We went to the Human Emergency Tour.
Okay.
Only to arrive to find out that Enoch recorded on Human Emergency, but by the time the CD dropped, he had parted ways with the group. And so we showed up in Philly, and I think it was Ambassador somebody came out and they said we humbly accepted our brother's Enoch's resignation. But then Enoch got with who is it, Trey 9 with Much Love Records.
Yeah.
And then dropped a diss song But on other songs, it was just raw, man. And the name of his, the title of his CD was Authentic.
Come clean before my preteens, before digging in crates as an MC. I dug in crates or Pop's porn magazines, not knowing I'd be a fiend. To this day, it's hard not to daydream about things I've seen. Roots run deep, wish I can block thoughts like sunscreen. I thought somehow, some way, everything would just fade after you get saved. You know what? If the truth be told, I still fall short. This is the hardest battle I fought and still putting up a fight. You wanna know what a sex fiend's like? How it affects your life? Well, if you're married, you're up 2 a.m. mad cause your wife won't do what you like. You figure that ain't right, so you grab some cash, ready to pay that price and take that walk late at night. Nah, you got a car now, so your cruise cross town, ready, willing for whoever and whatever to go down. That's for real, if the truth be told. If the truth be told.
Since the days of old, people lose control, and we all do things we never done before. Some might hide it though, but we all should know that we all do hurt if the truth be told. Since the days of old, people lose control, and we all do things we never done before. Some might hide it though, but we all should know that we all do hurt if the truth be told.
My status is single, full grown. Don't wanna be alone, cause my hormones are full blown. Into my bosom, I scoop fire. I'm burning for sex and I'm wired. Forbidden desires have been awakened, shaped and took form. My spiritual toughness is gone since lust is born. Now my walk with God is shot. Sex in my girl is hard to stop. I wanna tie the knot so I won't bear the guilt of what I struggle with and be at peace with who I cuddle with. Broke up with my girl cause I can't take it no more. Few days later I'm at the adult video store to make sure my supply's ample. Pay-per-views over the limit due to movies I'm renting on the Spice Channel. Man, this is so hard to believe. I wanna stop, but it's hard to cease. I'm far from peace. I walk the streets, dodge police, only to talk sweet to women who charge fees. Now it's Sunday. I'm sitting in church service. I can't worship cause I feel worthless. I feel nervous cause I know someone will ask how I'm doing, cause they saw I didn't take communion. Nosy people, if that's the case, instead of bringing truth to light, I'll put on a fake smile and say that everything's alright when it's not. If the truth be told.
Days of old, people lose control, and we all do things we never done before. Some might hide it though, but we all should know that we all do hurt if the truth be told. Since the days of old, people lose control, and we all do things we never done before. Some might hide it though, but we all should know that we all do hurt if the truth be told.
If the truth be told, let's discuss reasons. This ain't no lust demon, stop tripping. Jesus said this was a hard condition because of redemption. It's our part to beat this flesh into submission. If I could crawl through life, I'd be just fine. Cause when I walk, I fall 99% of the time. Questioning these intentions of mine, or whether my repentance is genuine. Is this guilt or godly sorrow? If I repent today, will I commit this same sin tomorrow? It's frustrating. Even in church, you feel like a freak after a whole week of masturbating. I'm tired of being so far gone after a show in a hotel room watching soft porn, or call up the chat line to talk to girls who don't know me. It's funny how we rap for Jesus and fake it like we living holy with phony. If the truth be told, bring it, brother. It's real. If the truth be told.
Since the days of old, people lose control, and we all do things we never done before. Some might hide it though, but we all should know that we all do hurt if the truth be told. Since the days of old, people lose control, and we all do things we never done before. Some might hide it though, but we all should know that we all do hurt if the truth be told.
And so I'm talking about, like, Enoch's never been the best rapper to me. But after meeting him, I can understand why he rapped the way that he rapped. But man, dude was like just spilling it all. You know, that's the first time that I heard somebody talk about not getting none from his wife. So he's getting out of bed, and this is like prior to people really diving into porn on the internet, right? So him getting out of the bed, driving around the city, either, you know, just looking for porn videos or prostitutes or whatever the case was. And I ain't heard the song in years, but he was talking about just kind of looking to get into some stuff because he felt like he wasn't being fulfilled at home, but at the same time he also felt like he wasn't being the leader that he needed to be in his household. And I remember at that time it was so raw. That was something that we all appreciated about it, because we never heard a dude, a Christian rap artist, talk about his home life that way, talk about his wife that way. Now, you'll give your testimonies. I used to do this. I used to sell drugs, smoke, porn, whatever. But actually putting your bedroom stuff like out there for the public to read or to hear, but also turn around to your old group and be like, y'all ain't telling everything either. And so I think that's the first time I had heard that, man. And I appreciated that, but I was also sad by the fact that like in our camps, we had these different riffs where we feel like we need to talk about each other's and air our stuff out on record instead of doing what scripture says and going to our brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And then even the whole, you know, I think we kind of took it from the church, from the pastors, where we only talk about our issues when they're like so far in our rear view that you could be able to say like, oh, I'm miraculously delivered, or I'm over it. Yeah. But then it's like, well, wait a minute, let's do a timeline on when you supposedly went through it. Were you still ministering to us like everything was straight? You know what I'm saying? Whole thing of being honest. Now I will say, as an artist, you know, you get a whole nother level of respect from me, because that's a rough thing to do, to talk about that honestly. Yeah. Your life, and you still got your wife in there, and your kids and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is a slippery slope in reference to how much much detail you go into and everything. But I do feel like that's the kind of stuff that needs to be verbalized within the genre as people continue to get older, because I think this is where where we fall off as a people, you know, and as well as the culture that is CHH, is that I don't know what happens with older people, but they get to this point where they feel like nobody really cares to know. So they're like, I'll tell you when you ask me. Yeah. And I can see that. I remember being younger, and I think I was probably like 17, and this is before my grandfather had passed away. And, you know, my grandfather wasn't somebody that when I came to, you know, to his house, he would always just be like, hey, how you doing? Small talk, whatever. Sit, watch TV. He had one of the big old TVs that was like furniture. You know what I'm saying?
With the big floor model?
Yeah, big floor model.
Did he eventually have another TV sitting on top of it?
No, because he had bought, this was brand new back then, but it was wood and all that, you know, them heavy ones, right? And then he would watch the TV, and my aunties and stuff used to say he would watch the TV, and sometimes the TV would watch him, you know, because he'd be asleep. But I remember getting to a point where I wanted to know more about my grandfather, and I didn't know that he was approaching his death. You know what I'm saying? I had no clue at that time, but I remember when I gave him the right choice questions, how like he his whole you know world, everything that he had done in life opened up to me, and he started to become really, really, you know, open and anxious to tell me, you know, all of these various different stories of him on the farm and how he learned how to drive a car, you know, and just all of the little stuff. But if I would have never came to him and initially started to ask him the questions, he would have never told me, and I would have missed out on that big old huge part of his life. And I don't know what it is, but at the same time, I feel like this generation, and I'm talking about now, when I say generation, I'm talking about my generation.
Yeah.
Right? We got to get to a place where we are not allowing our ego to deter us from just doing what we did. Like, my dad asked me the question. He's like, you still rapping?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as if like rapping is like a childhood thing that you're supposed to do away with.
I just don't think we know what to do with it yet, because hip hop is only 40 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's probably why. I think years ago people thought that it would die out a lot sooner, and I think we've seen the opposite. We've seen hip hop literally change the world. Like, even little small stuff, brother. Hip hop culture is why certain car companies, high car companies, period, why they have like TVs in their cars as standard now. I remember being in New Orleans before any of that stuff even happened. These guys some kind of way rigged up. They had these huge Suburbans back when, before like SUVs became popular. It was the big old original Suburbans that farmers used to drive. Even back then, there wasn't really nothing appealing about it because of the way that they was built. But I remember being in New Orleans on Canal Street, and you just saw a row of Suburbans, and all of them had these metallic paint job. It was the dopest thing that I had ever seen.
Yeah.
They had TVs in them, and one person was like bumping Mystical like really, really loud, man. It was like the dopest thing I ever saw. But then later on, I realized that car companies had seen how these young dudes dope boys who had these vehicles
that's where they got it from.
Yeah, they got it from that. and now we started upsizing our rims. Now all of a sudden, because back then the bigger rims were like 20-inch rims.
Yeah.
Before that it was like 14 and 15-inch rims, right? 20-inch rims started becoming standard. You even had Aaliyah, people sagging, showing their drawers, and I think it was Tommy Hilfiger saying, "Yo, we're gonna make our drawers look like boxer shorts, literally boxer shorts." And they started making the band like really thick, so it can look like the trunks that boxers wore. Like, hip hop has influenced everything from our commercials, and so I don't think it's going anywhere.
No.
But I think we kind of missed it, and now it's like so much stuff has happened, and we go back, and when we start hearing the stories of how a lot of these things originated, that hip hop actually influenced, and it's like, oh, so that was going back 15, 20 years ago. I didn't even know that hip hop went into or influenced the marketing of that particular product. You understand what I'm saying? But to see this side, saying that Epic is still rapping, and Dad'd be like, "Yo, you still doing that?" It's still such a young subgenre that I don't think we fully grasp yet.
3,000. Come on, yeah, get your groove on. Yeah, flesh down, spirit up. This is a new era that be gearing up. What up? What up? What up? What up? I remember the birth of real hip-hop, an underground movement that just wouldn't stop. On the airwaves was R&B and pop. I remember K-Day was a spot when it drops, and my ear was stuck to the speaker. Wanted the brim, hat, and Adidas sneakers. I remember my first record, Ella Cool J and Bad. Tape, Jazzy and Fresh Pants, just don't understand. And had the Kid and Play moves down. Almost broke my ankle getting my foot to the ground. The sound on the streets was hip-hop all day, and after a while that's all the radio played. My jam, it takes two from Rob Bass. We record, pump it up, and watch it all day. This goes to the MCs that paved the way. And last, rest in peace to Jam Master J. Come on, I represent the real hip-hop. And just like Cream, I'ma rise to the top. With God behind me, I'ma keep it hot. Dropping hits if you like it or not. I represent the real hip-hop. And just like Cream, I'ma rise to the top. With God behind me, I'ma keep it hot. Dropping hits if you like it or not.
Imagine how I feel to see a cat get deal, spit nonsense over beats and then make a meal. When the cats with real skill, be blue collar with dreams of being big, working hard for the dollar. Swallow pride, taking it stride, not playing, hating, discussing among themselves at times, arguing, debating about whatever happened to the real hip hop. When skills are not green, made you rise to the top. When lyrics not who producing, you made you hot. Signing the dotted line, giving it all you got. MCs be spending bonuses on booze and pot, and you wonder why the city that you copped is shot. It's all about marketing, how much dough you got. The clothes, the jewelry, having girls is hot. It's not adding up when you do the math, but with God on the side, we'll soon get our chance. Come on, I represent the real hip hop. And just like Cream, I'ma rise to the top. With God behind me, I'ma keep it hot. Dropping hits if you like it or not. I represent the real hip hop. And just like Cream, I'ma rise to the top. With God behind me, I'ma keep it hot. Dropping hits if you like it or not. We rep the Lord, how you gonna stop it? God say do it, I'm gonna drop it. Do it for the streets, so be sure to cop it. For the Lord, I'm sure gon' rock it. And watch it blast off like a rocket. My style right now, I got it in pocket. Lights on now, so I got it in socket. Flip flows for the Lord, so you can't knock it. It's a PIC and I'm at it again. Here to represent for the rest of my kin. All of us has been delivered from sin. From LA worldwide, even the cats in the pen. It's epicenter and the devil can't stop it. The PIC and I got it in pocket. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Come on, yeah. I represent the real hip hop. And just like Cream, I'ma rise to the top. With God behind me, I'ma keep it hot. Dropping hits if you like it or not. I represent the real hip hop. And just like Cream, I'ma rise to the top. With God behind me, I'ma keep it hot. Dropping hits if you like it or not. Flesh down, spirit up. Epicenter be tearing it up. What up, what up, what up, what up? Yeah, flesh down, spirit up. This is a new era that be tearing.
Thanks for listening to Oldheadz Podcast, where legends get their airplay. Follow us on Facebook and send us comments on your favorite artists.